Thank you for choosing Kennelite. This short video will demonstrate how to check grooming appointments in and out and how to add history notes to grooming appointments.
Grooming appointments are checked in and out in today's list. To find the Grooming Today's List, you want to be in Kennelite's main window, go to the main toolbar, Grooming section, and left-click on Today's List. Once today's appointment list is open, you can use the calendar on the left-hand side to choose the appropriate day. Once the appropriate day has been selected, the appointments for that day will list on the right-hand side. There are multiple ways to check appointments in. If you wish to check all the appointments in, you can use the Select All icon in the View section. Once selected, all appointments are chosen. If you do not wish to choose all appointments, you can say Select None, and the check marks will disappear. You can also select one appointment by placing a check mark near it, using the Check-In icon in the Status section, or you can do a right-click on that appointment and left-click on the option to check in. Once the appointment is checked in, notice the color in the date box changes to alert the status of the appointment. The colors for the status in today's appointment list can be found from the main window, Tools tab, left-click on Options in the Setup section. On the Options tab, select Appointments, then select Colors. Under Colors, you will have the option to set or change the colors for Checked In, Checked Out, Inactive, and Overbooked. Back to today's appointment list. We have checked Bella in for her appointment. We wish to check Bella out. To check Bella out, we do a right-click on her appointment, left-click on the phrase Check Out. Notice the color change. Once Bella has been checked out, we realize that we should not have checked Bella out. To correct this, we can go back to Bella's appointment in today's appointment list, do a right-click on the appointment, left-click on the phrase Undo Checkout. When you undo checkout, it changes the status back to the original point of being checked in. It is then that you realized Bella should have never been checked in the first place. You can go back to Bella's appointment, do another right-click, and left-click on Undo Check-In. When this option is selected, notice the colors are gone and the appointment is changed back to the original point. Bella is not checked in at all. Back to today's appointment list. We are now going to look at how check-in, checked out, undo check-in, undo checkout affect history. We're going to go to Sergio. We're going to check Sergio in. Sergio has been here for his grooming, so now we are going to check Sergio out. When we check Sergio out, notice the color change. I'm also going to do a right-click, Open Pet on Sergio, and you'll notice once we checked out, the entry is now in history. Once we see the entry in history, we realize Sergio was not ready to be checked out. We go back to today's list in the Grooming section. On Sergio's appointment, we do a right-click, Undo Checkout. This changes the status back to checked in. If we do a right-click, Open Pet, notice the service is no longer in history. The correct changes can be made now, and then Sergio can be checked out once more. While Sergio is in his grooming appointment, his owner decides that she also wants to add a basic hair trim around his eyes. So we want to go to today's list in the grooming section. We want to go to Sergio's appointment. We want to do a right-click change on the checked-in appointment. Go to the Services tab. In the Services tab, the grooming charge is already present. We want to do a right-click New, and we want to add the basic hair trim around his eyes. And then we're going to say OK. Then we decide we want to add a note to the eye trim indicating why we added it. We would once again do a right-click, change on the appointment, go back to the Services tab. On the eye trim, we do a right-click, Notes. This opens the history notes, and we can just put added charge per customer. And then we can say OK. We say OK once more to the change appointment window. Now we are back to today's appointment list. Sergio has now had his grooming, and he has also had the hair trimmed around his eyes. So we wish to check Sergio out. Notice the color change. We want to do a right-click Open Pet. In here, you can see where the notes display. The grooming appointment shows, then above that is the added charge of the quick trim around the eyes. The history notes that we added were on the code eye trim. Notice how the notes display right below that code. This gives reference for future visits. Once we see the charges in history, we realize that when we did the grooming on Sergio, he had long hair and it tangled really easy. We want to add this in history somehow. So what we would have to do is go back to today's list, go back to the appointment. We're going to do a right-click, Undo Checkout on Sergio's appointment. And you can see if we do a right-click Open Pet that it takes the charges out of history. Then on Sergio's appointment, we want to do a right-click History Notes. This right-click History Notes is going to display on the grooming code. So in here, we are going to say long hair, tangles easy, and say OK. Now we can proceed with our checkout. We want to do a right-click Checkout. Then we're going to do a right-click Open Pet. And notice now our code for grooming now says long hair, tangles easy. This is in addition to the eye trim, whose notes are added charge per customer. This is how you can easily change and display pet specific notes or customer specific notes in history.